Top of the mountain to all of you. I am Colby, and in today's video, we are reviewing the Western Mountaineering TerraLite 25. I wanted to start off by giving you a little background on how I landed on this sleeping bag. As a backpacker, over time, we try and lighten our load little by little, ounce by ounce, pound by pound. And that's what I've been doing over the last couple of years. And one of those areas I knew I can improve on my weight was my sleeping bag. I currently have a Nemo Disco 15. I love that bag. It's roomy, it's warm, it packs down small, but it weighs around 3 pounds. So I was hoping I could shave off about a pound from my sleeping bag, but I didn't want to compromise what I had with the Nemo Disco 15. And so I did a lot of research, went down many rabbit holes. Do I get a quilt? What other types of sleeping bags that are out there? And ultimately I decided I'm a sleeping bag person. I like to zip up at night and just be bundled up inside that sleeping bag. And through all that research over many months, I landed on the TerraLite 25 because it resembles my other bag, but it's a pound lighter. Now it's a 25 and my Nemo Disco is a 15. So that had me a little concerned, but everybody knows Western Mountaineering is a stand-up company for great quality, warm bags. You don't hear too many complaints about Western Mountaineering. I also heard from all the reviews I've read and YouTubes I've watched, Western Mountaineering rates their bags at a comfort level. And so if they say it's a 25, you should be comfortable around 25 degrees. The 15 is not a comfort level with my other bag. And so I was hoping that they would essentially be the same warmth based on how they do their comfort ratings. Now in just a minute, I'm going to give you firsthand experiences with the bag down in colder temperatures, but I want to just talk about the bag a little bit first, okay? I have the 6'6" version. I'm 6'2", 215 pounds. I fit really well on this. It actually has more room than I probably need. It uses 850 plus goose down. So the down is a high quality down. It is feather light. I mean, literally when you're in this thing, you can barely even feel that there's anything on top of you. It's super light. This bag itself weighs 1 pound 15 ounces. So it's just under 2 pounds. It met my need to be at least a pound lighter than my other bag. It has a zipper that goes all along the side. It also has a second zipper at the very bottom. The zippers are second to none. I mean, you unzip and zip that thing, you are not catching any part of the sleeping bag whatsoever. You can also unzip the whole thing and it becomes a blanket. The baffles on this sleeping bag are vertical. They continue from the top to the bottom. There is no closure at the side. They do that because they allow you to move the down from the bottom to the top or the top to the bottom, depending if it's warm or cold. So that's a pretty cool feature. And on the cold nights, I did move the down as much as I could to the top. This particular sleeping bag does not have a draft collar, okay? So it's missing that. And when I give you my review in a minute, 100% missed having a draft collar. You don't know what you have until you don't have it. It does have a great cinch to it though. The cinch string will go tight all the way around your neck if you want it to. And so on those colder nights, you can cinch it. The TerraLite does have a small hood, and I say small, it's more like a tiny hood. I wouldn't consider it a hood. And so if you are a hood person on your sleeping bag, this isn't going to work. Once you get the pillow in here, it barely fits over, like, I don't even know if it's half your head. Like, it does not cover like a hood should, but it's there. If it was a really cold night and you needed to cinch up, you could probably just put the pillow underneath the bag and then cinch up, you know, under there, but that's not how I sleep. I'm a side sleeper, so the hood, I don't use hoods anyway, so it wasn't a big deal for me. This sleeping bag has amazing loft. The loft is higher than my other sleeping bag, but you can see like this thing is super light, super lofty. Now let's get to the real world review of how this bag did. I've taken it out twice so far and want to give you the review on both of those times I took it out. So the first time I took it out, I took all 3 of my boys, we went out to the desert, In Phoenix, the low was supposed to be 43 degrees. We got out to the desert, down into a canyon, and it got down to 27 degrees, I kid you not. It was way colder than we thought it was going to be. Now I have 4 pads that we used, 2 Nemo Quasars and 2 Nemo Tensor insulated, the older version that's orange. The Quasar is around 3 R value and the Tensor is 4 point something. So the Tensors are warmer pads, and I gave those pads to my youngest kids to make sure they were gonna be warm. And then me and my oldest son took the other pads. Now, when I first got into the sleeping bag, it was in the 40s, all right? I was moving around and it was okay right in the beginning. But as it got down to, let's say, 40 degrees, and I have 2 thermometers, one outside, of course, and one inside, so I could do a dual test on where we were at with temperatures. And as it dipped below 40 degrees, I was a little bit cold. I was wearing joggers just like I'm wearing now, as well as my sun hoodie, as well as a vest. And my upper body was warm, but my lower body started getting cold from my waist down. And I'm not used to that. I've never felt this in my other bag. And it was around 40 degrees at that point. And as it dipped into the 30s, I knew it was gonna be a long night because I wasn't shivering, I wasn't really cold, but just cold enough where there was that edge and I wasn't comfortable, and you can kind of feel it in your bones a little bit. And so it didn't perform well for me that night. Inside the tent, it got around 32 degrees. So that's where I was testing this at. And that's really where I needed this to perform. Like, I don't need to go down into low 20s. I just need like around freezing, because that's what we deal with in Arizona. We camp in the winter in the desert, and then the summer we go up to the mountains. So we really don't have to be much colder than freezing if we don't want to. So I was a little disappointed that it didn't work out that first night. So I needed to test the bag again because I used that sleeping pad that was a lower R value. But unfortunately in Arizona, in February, it started getting up to 90 degrees. So we headed actually up to the Mogollon Rim into the mountains, and it was that perfect scenario again. Got about 32 degrees inside our tent. This time I used the Nemo Tensor insulated pad. I brought extra layers just in case, and sure enough, same scenario. When it got down to about 40 degrees, below that, I started getting cold again. Now I did have layers, and I did double up my layers and things, so I was fine that night. I even had a synthetic blanket that I laid over the top, but was not super happy with the performance of the bag as it dipped into the 30s. The long and short of the story is the bag is not my dream bag like I was hoping it was going to be. And that's probably on me. It's not on Western Mountaineering. They don't claim that their bags are comfort rated, but it's just kind of what everybody says, and I just went with it. This is probably more of a summer bag for most people. You can actually get the bag overstuffed with another 3 ounces of down if you wanted to, and there are companies that do that. It isn't Western Mountaineering themselves. So if you are a big person, this actually might be a great bag for you, because this is one of the biggest sleeping bags I've ever slept in. And if you're looking for a lighter bag, and if you're already bringing lots of clothes, then it might work. You can sleep in all those different layers. What I didn't want to do was save weight on my sleeping bag, but then have to bring extra base layers and things because it's going to be cold out. It wouldn't change the weight in my backpack. I would rather just bring my Nemo Disco 15, knowing what its capabilities are, and not have to bring more clothes and sleep in more clothes. To wrap this review up, the TerraLite 25 just isn't for me. It doesn't mean it's not right for you. I'm just giving you my personal experience with it. And maybe I was hoping that this bag was supposed to be something that it was never meant to be. It's totally on me if that's the case. I am still on the hunt for the perfect sleeping bag. I'd appreciate any comments below if you have any good ideas for me. I may look into a quilt for summertime just to lighten the load, because a quilt's even lighter than this bag and it's less expensive. But for now, probably just sticking with my Nemo Disco 15. I love that bag. I'll just deal with that extra pound that it carries. If you have any other questions that I did not cover with the bag, feel free to let me know in the comment section. And we are a new channel. We appreciate any new followers, subscribers. We do a lot of backpacking and camping and hiking trips, and want to take you along with us. We also do gear reviews and food reviews. We started also a new business with freeze-dried meals and backpacking and hiking food. And our goal with backpackinggrub.com is to become the place you go to when you are stocking up on your backpacking freeze-dried meals. Have the widest selection of freeze-dried meals out there. You can get everything in one spot with powerful filters so you can easily access whether you're vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, dessert, breakfast, whatever you're looking for, you can click the filters really easily and narrow down your search. So please follow our journey along, and hopefully we'll see you on the trail.